Alrighty, welcome to another episode of the Unleashed and Unstoppable Show. My name is Todd Pierce.
And my name's Dean Martin.
And we've got a special guest with us right now. He's the man, Mr. Kurai, all the way down in Sydney, right?
Yes. Hello. How are we going?
Fabulous, man.
Technology, all the way down Sydney, and we're virtually talking.
I know, right? So look, today is going to be a really, really cool episode. We've got three of us on here that have all got high energy, which is great.
That's a problem.
And it's a problem, right? Depends how you look at it. But today we're going to be talking about some good stuff for people that are in business, people that are in sales, in marketing, that are really wanting to amplify their results. Yeah, and like Kurai's got a fantastic backstory, and he's doing some really cool things right now in his own respective space. So it's a pleasure to have you on board today, mate. So for the people watching, for the people listening, tell us, like, what's brought you to here today, and like, what are you doing right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So 3.5 years ago, I was in prison. Similar situation of some kind to what you've dealt with in the past.
Yep.
My life turned to turmoil when I just made a number of decisions that just, I was lacking clarity in life. I was lacking purpose. I kind of hated myself as well, deep within. There's lots of problems, obviously, that were deep within and that I hadn't really dealt with. And I just went down this pathway, leaving school, of just getting into crime and got involved with the wrong people, wrong crowds, or not the best supportive crowds, I should say. I guess in prison, it was like the most incredible thing that's ever happened for me. That's where this massive transformation happened. And I went on this journey. I'll just kind of skim through it fast. You can tell me if you want me to slow down and kind of go into the deep experiences. But, in jail, there's this incredible spiritual, emotional, logical, whatever you want to call it, journey. And so many changes happened in there that led to a number of changes from that point all the way up until now, where I'm just experiencing so much growth on a day-to-day basis, becoming a better person, better version of myself, which is what I'm always chasing, and serving others, and essentially just went on this personal development journey as I got out. Went on this journey of I can do this, I can live an incredible life, and anyone that tells me that I suck or that I'm a failure, they can, am I allowed to swear? Is that cool?
Yeah,
they can go fuck themselves or whatever. I don't care if I've been to prison. I don't care what people say to me. I had everyone telling me that I sucked. I had family, seriously, family, my closest family telling me that I was a failure and that I couldn't, I would not be able to get a job. And I went on this mission to prove to myself that I can do it. More so myself than them. I think that's crucial. And so I went on that journey and that's what I've been doing, man. I live every day like it's my last day, and went into the corporate world and became quite successful in consulting, did some strategy work with some of the big, global consulting firms. Got into there without a degree and with a criminal kind of situation, which was proving two things wrong. And people were just like, what? How do you do that? Yep. And then got a promotion. And then, after a couple of years, I was like, okay, now I've had enough. I've achieved what I want to achieve. Let's go to the next thing. And started speaking, going around high schools all around New South Wales, talking about my story with dealing with all the challenges and all the, adversity that I've dealt with in my life. And kind of how to overcome that, and kind of sharing my story in a way to help and empower young people. And then that led to me essentially starting up a charity called the Interdependence Group, which is really cool. We had a board, and we were doing workshops with schools around New South Wales. Yep. Later, I decided I co-founded that with someone else, and we had a breakdown. Yep. Made a decision to kind of, the breakdown happened because I decided to leave, which is okay. And I chose to go into the kind of the adultery, personal development world, or whatever you want to call it, right? Yep. And I really just went hard in, and I just went straight in and just succeeded straight away. Yep. There was no failure as an option. That's just how I operate. I just operate like a freak, So yeah, I just went in this journey of coaching, and then started helping people and empowering people. And before I knew it, I had a mastermind and all these different courses and groups, and it just expanded and grew my brand and share my story, and did speaking events similar to you guys. And I'm just obsessed with sharing as much knowledge as I can and learning as well. And yeah, I think, I know just it can kind of, that's pretty much it, So in terms of where we're at now, I could probably talk for another 5 hours. I'm just thinking, how can I condense this all down? So
that's cool, man. So let's stop you there for a second. Let's kind of unpack a couple of things. So obviously, everyone, I can speak from personal experience, and I know you'll be able to as well. Like when you first get out of prison, right? Like you immediately hit with if you're anything like me, you hit with the immediate realization that I don't really have any fucking skills. I don't really have anything behind me. So let's kind of talk about that. So because there's two kinds of people that are going to be watching this. Number one, there's people that, in my opinion, probably are already kind of kicking some goals. They got a bit of momentum and they want to start to scale their results. But there may also be people that are kind of a bit stuck, a bit stagnant, right? They're struggling at the moment and they don't really know what they need to do to kind of get the ball rolling. So like in respect to finding out what your talents are and like what you are about, like talk to us about that. Because it sounds like right now you're in a bit of a spot, and obviously we'll unpack what you're doing now a bit later on because it is quite exciting. But like for you to get to this point, like what was that process of finding what kind of sets your heart on fire, what your natural talents are and that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's all mindset, man.
Mm.
We all know it. We all hear it, but I think sometimes even I forget it at times.
Yep.
You know, when you sometimes like consciously, we think we're conscious, but I think sometimes we're conscious, but we forget that we're conscious because we become unconscious again. And we kind of like, I feel like sometimes I forget that it's all mindset, but I'm always chasing that. Like I realized recently, and when I got out of prison, let me take 2 steps back. I decided that, all right, how did I get in this prison cell? And I realized one thing that I wasn't doing was following my intuition.
Yep.
Right? I was doing things that just didn't feel right. Because I'm actually kinesthetic. I'm not some natural hardcore prison and kind of criminal guy. I'm not. I'm actually a really genuine human being. So how the fuck did I end up, committing crime as well as facing life in prison for like large commercial drug supply and all this crazy shit? Okay. So basically I made that decision. I'm going to follow my intuition. I'm going to build skills based off what feels right. I'm going to find who I really am, really uncover what I'm best at and really build and hone in on those skills, right? So, because one thing that I had heard previously was, why don't you just fix your weaknesses? Like you suck at this, you suck at that. Like I think people focus too much on their weaknesses. Like, why? What's the point? I personally don't get that. It's like focus on what you're best at, and really develop those skills and make them better. You know what I mean? So does that answer your question?
Yeah. So that answers one element to it. So focusing on things that you're good at and growing those. But also, what's your thoughts in regards to obviously like where you are right now today with the current business venture that you're endeavoring on? Like it's different to the consulting work that you did when you first got out of prison. It's different to the coaching that you were doing to a degree as well.
Yeah.
Like talk about that evolution of finding what really sets your heart on fire.
Yeah, because I'm obsessed with finding out what I do. I'm a spiritual man, and a lot of people don't think I am. They think my content's always very intense. And all that. Some people think I've had people that want to tell them that I'm like I'm so strongly believing in the spiritual world, and that everyone has a gift that they can share with the world and to inspire people and to help others. I believe that we've got to find that gift, and it's not like when you find that you're an NBA all-star, you still got to work your ass off to make that gift almost like able to help people. It's gonna be formulated. It's gonna be built upon, right? So that's what I'm obsessed with, finding that natural, that gift. And there's so much bullshit that I see out there where I feel like a lot of people are almost chasing this unicorn of what success means. And so I like to constantly try to remove myself from that and actually focus on me, what I truly see as success within myself, which is being me rather than trying to be someone else. So does that make sense? I had a lot of people last year that said, man, you're like the next Tony Robbins and this and this. And this. It's fucking annoying. I bet you would have had that as well. I feel a lot of people get that, and actually we're pretty cool. It's like, yeah, that's mad. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's my dad. It's dad. Uncle Tony, mate. Uncle Tony.
but it's like, you know what? Like, I want to be me, and so I realized not just that long ago. Within the last 6 months, I've really been like, I had a mastermind. I felt this lack of almost like unfulfillment. I felt like I wasn't being 100% authentic and true to myself. And so I really wanted to focus on finding what I enjoy most and also what I'm best at in terms of helping people as well with that, right?
So it's getting those natural talents.
Exactly. And then I started this sales agency, right? I know you've got a hectic experience in, with direct sales as well. And we started selling for other influencers. And I built a strong brand at that point. So I had access to some of the top, influencers. It wasn't that difficult. I got, one of our clients were doing like a few hundred sales calls a week. Yep. And my sales guys, like, it's just absolutely insane. The numbers that we're producing there is huge. But the point is, then I felt this lack of authenticity as well. I wasn't satisfied. And I feel like a lot of people around me would say, oh, Karai, like you're moving around a little bit, your projects, like you're successful here, but why are you moving on so much? Well, fuck you and what you think is right or wrong. I'm going to go do what I think is right. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to listen to you, Johnny, or anyone else. I'm going to listen to me and what I want to do.
Yep.
As simple as that. So
Yeah.
then it was really weird. I was going to go into this partnership with this lady who runs a successful education company in the corporate sales training space. That ended up not happening because I chose to move forward to something else. But she got me to do this spiritual one-on-one session with this lady. It's like a human design testing thing, right? I highly recommend it. It's incredible. But I really started to discover what I'm best at, which is really being a middleman in a sense, like being the guy that brings people together. I've got this gift of bringing people together, like bringing A to B so that a solution is created to those people's problems, but I'm getting someone who can generate and provide that solution to them.
Yes.
Up until that point, I thought that I had to be the guy that was necessarily the guy at the very front, like delivering the solution or whatever. And I feel like that's because of my ideology of what success looks like, and that I have to be that person that everyone else deems me to be, Mr. Tony Robbins, speaker guy, mastermind guy, young guy kicking ass. That's bullshit. So that's where
I like this. I like where this is going, because this is very much a business, sales, marketing, success oriented podcast that we're doing in this episode. But what I'm liking, because once again, and for those watching, those listening, for those that don't watch our shows normally, we've got no script. We have a couple of dot points that we talk about, and they kind of go where they go, it brings a nice authentic feel to the podcast. And what I'm liking is where this has naturally gone, which is kind of getting past the bullshit facade of what people, think business means, what they think success means, what they think, because this is right. There's a saying, right? And who was it that said it? It was on the last one. I think it was Kurt. Kurt says, he goes, there's a saying that says, I am not who I am. I am what you think I am. Something like that. It was like, we be what we think other people want us to be. Right. And what happens is you get a disconnect between who you really are and what the world's projecting on you. And then, as you said, right, you start to feel not authentic. You start to feel like there's a disconnect. And and what's natural, like I've done this for 10 years. So I've seen this many times with coaching clients, is you then start to see self-sabotage patterns occur. So like, if you're like watching this and like you're kind of feeling that disconnect inside, or like you feel like what you're doing isn't necessarily the most authentic you, be careful, because that's like a slippery slope into self-sabatage.
I'm curious though. Look, I haven't been to prison. I have helped build a prison once.
Jeez, you're missing out on the best time of your life.
I obviously can't grow a beard either, so I can't be TP. But anyways, look, I have been stuck before and been extremely stuck where I've not known what to do whatsoever. And I'm curious, like you've got out, how many times did you question yourself with what are your strengths? Or did, you just come to you and be like a beam of light and you're like, yep, that's me?
I think I just believe that it's going to come. It's going to happen. I'm just present. That's one thing I've learned to be present. Things are going to happen for me. And the more that I remind myself of that, the more, if I believe that I follow my intuition, I believe our intuition is our mastery. It's like it's so powerful that we underestimate it. Like I still struggle. I don't think you can ever be 100% on top of your intuition. We're always going to fuck up. But it's about reducing the number of fuck ups that we make that are unnecessary. That's what I think. I think fuck ups are great, but I think that once we really tap into our intuition, we can make decisions that just feel right, and then there will still be fuck ups. Our intuition is not necessarily like the secret to God or the secret to being 100% accurate. Like it's still going to be wrong at times. I don't think that your intuition means you're God or something, right? So, but me following that means that I will be able to kind of like come across situations in life where I'll be my intuition might say, you know what, this like, what's this about? What's this skill set that, to answer your question directly, like what, this skill set you want to learn or this pathway you want to take, like, does it feel right? And it really kind of, as soon as I really analyze that it's a pretty straightforward, clear indicator as to what I want to do next. Does that, what do you guys think?
So you're touching in on your feelings.
Absolutely.
Like, making sure it feels right.
Absolutely. Feelings and logic as well.
Yep.
A combination of both.
Absolutely. It's funny.
Never just one.
Back in 2015, 16, right? I had a great lesson from not following intuition and not listening to gut feelings. And it's funny. I learned a very good business lesson, which is hire slow, fire fast.
Hire slow,
fire fast, right? Which most people don't get this, right? And what that means is that in business, because I have had the opportunity to have literally people working all around the country for me. At one point, we had almost 100 people all around Australia doing work for us. I've done a couple of different things over the years. And I've also been too nice sometimes in business. And
Oh,
that is
so
just look, let me be fair. I could be a complete fucking asshole. Like I'm an asshole when I want to be, but and most of the time I'm too nice sometimes as well. And like that bit me in the ass massively. 2015, 2016, I had someone working for me, right? That really there was no value. I'm paying this person $60,000 a year to basically just be around. Like in hindsight, I look back and go, Jesus, Tom, what the hell were you thinking? But like it was a case of hired too fast just to fill a position I thought needed to be filled, and then fired way too slow. As a result, that whole thing blew up, cost me over 18 months of my life, like hundreds of thousands of dollars goes down the toilet. And like, it's funny. It's all about following your gut, because what my gut said is let's get rid of this person because it's just not the right fit anymore. So I definitely resonate with that.
What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, well, I was around when all that was happening for him, so it was an interesting experience. I haven't had anything that big other than just recently with the gym shutting down. It's most definitely puts you in a perspective of, all right, what next? How can I think outside the box to be different?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So what are the
That's huge.
major challenges that you would see from your experience that have basically put you in a rock bottom position that you've had to find yourself to fight yourself out of?
In prison?
No, just in general, to get you to where you are now.
Definitely prison. If I could go back to being 18, 19 years old, like a number of years ago, I would pay money to go through the same experience. I was saying this to my partner just yesterday or the day before. I would literally give $50,000 saying, hey, can you put me in prison? I know this sounds insane. I'm not saying everyone should go through this. I'll tell you why I had to go through it, but because I know now, but I would actually pay to go through that exact experience. It's crazy, but I have to, because that is a priceless experience, man. Like being in this cell, there was a time when I was taken to a cell and stripped naked by these guards and left in this cell for days, no food, no water, no shower, nothing. I was no bed, no mattress, nothing. I was sitting there completely naked for days, literally almost just, I felt like I was dying because I wasn't even eating. It was the most messed up situation. These guards were swearing at me, whatever you want to call it. I don't really like to use the word abuse. It wasn't physical. It was more, just them going nuts at me, saying things and taunting me, and just I was going a little cuckoo, right?
Yep.
But in that experience, that one experience, it's like 5 days, my life changed. It was a big awakening. I became consciously aware of a number of things that I wasn't aware of previously. And so that's why I look back at that. I'm like, that's priceless. I would pay money to go through that roller coaster again.
Yeah.
Because of that, I can use that experience for the rest of my life, and it's going to serve me massively. And so the reason why I would go through it again is because I believe that tough love, I had to receive that pain so that I could really appreciate the pleasure that was going to come in the future, and also any future pain. Like right now, everything happening out there in the society is fucked. It is pretty effed up, if you were to label it as that. That I think is a globalization, and people would say that like, this is so intense, so much going on. But for me, for some reason, I am affected by it in a number of ways, but I'm not affected by it because I've created this immense certainty from within. I'm like, it doesn't matter what I go through again, I will not go to where I was before. I chose, I'll never go back to depression. I'll never go back to just sitting there feeling absolutely shit for so long. We will have days when we feel shit, but that's just a decision that I made. So it's like, I'm less affected by things that happen outside, and therefore I can literally be laser focused on business, helping people, doing what I do best. I'm just not impacted by outside situations. And I think I mentioned, part of my why factor right now is living every day like it's my last day. And I know you guys recently had Mike, you spoke with Michael recently, similar kind of mindset. And I think it's incredible when you're that authentic. The reason why I have that mindset is because my situation hasn't completely finished yet. I've still got this, I'm still facing life in prison. In fact, 1 hour ago, I've got to run after this to go pick up some papers from the QC. I've got to get some papers to take up. I just found out that my trial's being pushed forward. It's going to be in 6 days. 6 fucking days I could find out that I'm going to prison for this long. And this is probably insane for you guys hearing this. Like, what the fuck? It was meant to be next year. It got pushed back to next year. Now they're saying they might actually still be able to do it this year. So, which is actually really cool, because if it's finished and we win, it's fantastic. But it's like, I feel like a lot of people don't know about each other. We've all got problems and shit. It's like, how are we dealing with them? Like, someone would talk to me right now. Like, you look like the happiest guy ever. Like, it doesn't look like you're about to go face a jury and find out whether you're going to prison for a long time or not. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, put me through any experience. I'll find a way to be happy, and I'll find a way to create certainty within.
Correct. And that's C.S. Lewis kind of said it best, right? He said hardships prepare ordinary people for exceptional and extraordinary destinies.
Oh, it's a blessing. You guys know this.
100%.
I would love to go back to jail.
Right up there, mate.
That sounds crazy.
There's no growth in comfort.
Yeah, I think does Dean have a question? Was you going to say something, or just?
Yeah, I was just going to say I love that. Hey, because at the end of the day, everyone's thrown challenges, no matter how big or small they are, and by the time we get through those challenges, we find growth we didn't have before, and we can use those learnings to be able to improve or impact our life in some way or another. And what we do best here at Alpha Omega is we help others find their asset, whatever that may be, so they can impact either their world or somebody else's world to be better. So I love that about it.
So what I find incredible about adversity, you know what I think it does? It helps you become resourceful, because you've got to find a way to get through adversity. If you go through adversity, you have to be resourceful. There's no option. You can't rely on your resources. You got to be resourceful. Anyone can go get a psychologist, mate. If you've got $1 billion and you're going through shit, you still can be fucked up. You've got to be resourceful from within. So that's what I love about adversity, because you've got to find a way from within to find a solution. And therefore you're forced to be creative. And this is what business and everything is about. That's why I'm talking about like the ability to be, it's like you're consciously aware of what you are capable of, and being aware that your limiting beliefs are your limiting beliefs, and that you truly can achieve what you think that you cannot achieve. And I think that's what this is all about, that resourceful mindset of I actually can find a solution here.
Yes. Well, I always say you need to slay your dragon. I guess that's kind of my saying, right? You slay the dragon, and that dragon can be anything, right? And a lot of people, right, they shy away from challenges. They shy away from hard times. A lot of people, and look, for people watching this, right, like it may not even be your fault, right? Like I've had coaching clients that I've worked with that they were overprotected growing up as kids. They had parents that were just super protected, didn't let them do anything themselves. They went to school. They were looked after there by people around them. They find themselves in a relationship where they're overhandled, overprotected again. And then what happens, right, is that they, you know, at some point the protection ends, and they're hit with this harsh reality that the world is not this safe and beautiful and rosy, you know, green colored thing that you think it is. Actually, you know what? There are people, and this is like a direct talk to you people watching this now. There are people that want to hurt you. There are people that want bad to come by you. There are bad people, evil people in the world. And it is ignorant and it is stupid to think it's not. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't go out there and try to change the world, be the best version of yourself you can and achieve things. It just means that you have to be okay with the idea of slaying the dragon, right? And like there's a twin journey of achievement, right? There's the external things that we search for, right? The finish line, the achievement, the goal, the business goal, the sales targets, the money, the house, the cars. But there's also an internal transformation that we go through, right? It's called The Hero's Two Journeys. Fantastic book, by the way, if anybody wants to get it and listen to it. Awesome book. But the inner journey is very important, right? And like there are things inside that we have to overcome in order to cultivate our character. And like if you spend your life trying to avoid the tough conversations, to avoid, you know, doing that thing that really doesn't make you feel good, then you will never have the opportunity, as you said, to grow into the person you can be, to grow into the business that you can produce. Because whenever that dragon appears, if you don't slay it, you're always going to run away from it, right? And there are many dragons that you're going to face in life. And like you and I share that exact same experience, right? Like prison put me into a perspective that like, fuck, if this didn't get me, then what can? And it's funny, I carried that mindset forward until, 2016 when I had a massive business collapse. And what's interesting is that I lost all that money there, and like that headache that came with that, it was different. It was a different kind of low. But once again, like this is what I always tell people, embrace the low. Right now we've got COVID-19, right? There's businesses that can't trade. There's restrictions. There's things they can and can't do, right? And like people are freaking out. And like I'm saying to people, like if your business is impacted by COVID-19, there's some things you have to do. You need to pivot your approach. You need to change what's happening. You need to be observant and learn. And you have to make sure that you don't succumb to the fear. Because if you can overcome this, what's going to be able to stop you in the future? Nothing. Like seriously.
I love that so
It's
much.
just another thing happening to us. Like we had the droughts just recently. We had the floods just recently. It's just another thing that's impacting a few more people, really. But on a bigger scale, it's not that many people that have been impacted.
You're unstoppable. Like, this is what I You are fucking unstoppable. It's on there. I am unstoppable. Look at it. Like,
Yep.
people don't get just how strong they are, right?
Yeah.
Like, they just don't get it. And it's because for a lot of people, they haven't had the need to realize how strong they are, i.e. they haven't had their back pushed up against the wall. And like, it just, you're so much more powerful than you think you are. So let's get back onto where you are right now, because you're doing something really cool right now, which I think is fantastic. So talk to us, what, because you've gone from the consulting, then you're doing the coaching stuff, and then you had like, you know, your sales thing, which you're still doing right now to a degree, but you're also doing something else exciting. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So the sales agency is essentially, you know, supporting other people, you know, other influencers, other you know, business owners, people that essentially are selling, you know, like a high ticket service, something incredibly valuable for their audience, and we're supporting. We've got a sales team supporting to sell those products. But what I really, really want to talk about is I don't want to talk about what I want to do. I obviously want to add massive value to the audience. What I'm doing right now, which I think to make this valuable for everyone, with the way that I communicate it, is really finding out what I'm fucking good at. and again, coming back to that first thing and really focusing on that. And that is essentially being not just the middleman, like the sales agency, but more so being a person that really brings people together. And that's what I'm doing. So we're essentially, we've got a team together now. What we're doing is essentially supporting other speakers, and other global innovators and other like thought leaders that have incredibly, you know, powerful and reputable businesses and products and services that are helping people in some shape or form, and really helping them get from A to B, from them being the person that delivers it to the consumer. So obviously, you know, as we discussed, like doing like large scale events, you know, we're talking multi-speaker events, competing with like Success Resources, running, you know, essentially especially once coronavirus stuff is lifted, having like live events, multi-speaker environments in particular. One thing that we've analyzed and gotten feedback on is that the multi-speaker strategy with kind of online is quite challenging. But you know, that's something we can chat another time. But essentially, we're doing a lot of individual events. So in 2 weeks' time, one of the ones we're running is we're working with one of the top one of the top digital marketers, incredibly reputable, you know, done millions and millions of dollars in sales, and very, very, you know, top thousands of people, essentially running like an exclusive mastermind. And I brought the audience to him directly and just connected all the dots. That's what I'm good at. So it's kind of bringing it all together, which is really, really cool. So it's kind of like a mix of both, you know, small scale, like a small, really intimate mastermind environment. It's kind of like being like a broker and bring it all together to large scale multi-speaker events, and really supporting people like yourself, Todd. Obviously, we're going to be working with each other, right? Which is really, really cool. So delivering you know, life-changing education to people. That's kind of like the main focus right now. And I still do, like, you know, I still have one-on-ones and do coaching and have a tribe that I serve and all that. But
you love sales, right?
Absolutely. I love closing deals.
Talk to us about that. Because this is what people don't get right, is that, like, you know, you could have the best business idea in the world. You could be, you know, the best at delivering your service. But if you can't sell, like, the money's in the sales. A business you can have a fantastic idea, but if you've got no sales, you got no money. You got no money, you got no business. So let's talk about that, because a lot of people got an aversion to sales. Sell. And like, for me, I'm like,
tell me, what do you think?
Motherfucker, if you are scared to sell your own product, that means you don't believe in yourself. And like, you need to get to the point, in my opinion, that you think it's an injustice if someone doesn't buy your product, especially if you believe it's going to transform their lives. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about sales, why people get stuck with it, how they can improve sales, and why they need sales in their life.
Yeah. I mean, even during these times like now, it's still got to sell, right? Without sales, this whole world is fucked. There's no, the world will fall apart, right? We need people selling services. We need transactions happening, literally, to operate and to function. So I think the biggest problem that people face is, and that's why we were talking about this before. It's like, why is it so important that we master selling ourselves as human beings, or selling someone else's product? Like, why is it so important? And why do people get stuck, as you said? And obviously, comes to mindset is probably the biggest part. I think that the most important thing about sales if you cannot sell, like you said, you're not going to succeed. How can you succeed? How can you progress if you cannot sell? That doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Even if you outsource it to a salesperson or whatever, your sellings or your sales for your business or whatever, you still need to understand the importance of being able to sell and be able to sell, because it's not just about selling to we're selling every day. We all know this. We're selling every day. We're selling 5 to 7 times a day. We're negotiating with people. I negotiate with my partner. We negotiate with people at the shops. I actually close my partner. That's closing a deal. You got to secure the deal, man. That's why I tell people. I did an event last week, over 100 people, just like a little training that I just wanted to deliver massive value. I didn't sell anything because I'm not really doing my own stuff at the moment, as you know, obviously. But I even said to there, I was like, I don't want to just talk about selling products or services. You're selling everywhere. We're negotiating everywhere, literally. So we've got to be able to understand, what does this actually mean? And for me, when I uncover sales, it's essentially it's communication. And this is something that Les Brown talks about. It's like, which I'm sure 3 of us, know Les Brown is an incredible human being. He says, we need to refine our communication skills. And that's one thing that I discovered when I got out of prison. Because I was actually I didn't sound like this when I was back maybe 5, 6 years ago. If you guys heard what I talked like, I didn't really sound like this. I didn't read any books throughout life. Like I messed around a lot, like, kind of didn't really, after prison, I discovered and realized I have to focus on honing my communication. So
let me stop you right there, because I want to make a really important point. Please. So there are some people watching this, right, that may think that where they are right now is what they are, right? They think that I speak how I speak right now. This is just who I am.
I've heard it 100 times.
That's bullshit, isn't it?
I've heard it 100 times. All bullshit.
It's bullshit. Like you just like you
said.
Change
that belief right now.
Yes, because, and I know you're going to elaborate on it, right? But you focus on some new learnings, you expose yourself to new people, and then that shifted how you speak, how you think, how you operate, right?
Absolutely. I believe we are so powerful as human beings that we can actually not only heal ourselves, but we can truly become so powerful, as we all, like I'm talking much more powerful than even I'm aware of. I still believe that. I don't think that I know how powerful I am still. It's kind of crazy. That's why I'm like excited to see where I'm at 10 years. I'm sure we all are. And that's what's incredible about life. Mate, like my communication skills were shit. Seriously. I had to really, really develop that. Now, I still had natural gifts of being able to communicate really well in certain aspects, but I had to, because what does it mean to be a natural? I hear a lot of people saying you're a natural salesperson, you're natural this. Like, I might have high energy, that's correct. That doesn't mean I was a phenomenal communicator. I had to really build this skill set. I had to build this motherfucker. Like, literally, I had to construct who I am from where I was in jail all the way to now, and read so many books and learn, and most importantly, work in my belief system and mindset, because once you believe in yourself, it's game changer.
Also, the practical aspect as well, trial and error, actually getting out there, picking up the phone, knocking on the door, losing sales. Would you agree?
What, losing sales is the best thing ever? Failing, you want to fail to success, man. I love failure. I don't love failing, but I love the process of failing to success.
100%. Who are we talking about? We were talking to Ruben the other day. Talking to this fellow, Ruben, he's a cool cat over in Canada. And he does some cool stuff with coaches and helps them grow their businesses over there. But he kind of came up where we'll talk about sales and how to improve quickly. And like a big part of what I've done in regards to a sales kind of role was when I first got out of prison, I got involved in door-to-door sales, right? Sold first aid kits. We've sold freaking ATMs, FPOS terminals, house and hand packages, water coolers, all the stuff, right? Tapping up the doors, baby. And like I said to Ruben that like even today, like when I've gone out of recent years and knocked on doors, like I talked because he asked me the question. What was the question? The question was, how can you get yourself in the right mindset to start selling? And what I said to him was, as I said that, like when I go out and I sell, I'm completely prepared to look like a freaking idiot for the first couple of doors. Because often what happens is I'm like the first 2 or 3 doors that I knock on of a morning, if I went out and say knocked on doors in the morning, we're doing on field at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, and tapping on these doors, if it's a residential product, like you screw up the first couple of doors. And like you have to be okay with that. Because like, you know, when I got out and I learned NLP and hypnosis, like even that, like I'm the kind of person that just does. I'm like, give it to me. Yep, cool, that makes sense.
And think about you. You're not selfish.
Oh man, I'm on the damn doors.
Other people are selfish. That's why they're stuck, because they're thinking about. I've had so many clients that are stuck And the reason why they're stuck is because they're thinking about them.
Get out of their heads.
Rather than creating a solution for the person and finding a solution no matter what, they're thinking about them and their pocket. I'm thinking that people actually thinking about their money, their own pockets more than actually helping people. No wonder they suck. Man, I'm currently talking to some seriously high-end real estate operators who are doing like, $1 million a week kind of thing in eastern suburbs of Sydney, because I'm looking at getting one to come to an event, and we're talking and seeing the way these guys operate. Whilst they're making $1 million a week in commission, I'm talking like these guys are selling $1 billion a year in assets in property. That's a lot.
Yep.
Pretty insane, right? They're not thinking about the money. They're actually obsessed with providing a solution to the buyer or to the person that's a prospect or whatever, creating a fucking solution, not thinking about themselves. They're addicted to finding solutions no matter what. That's it. That's what they're actually addicted to. The byproduct is the cash that comes into their pocket, right?
And that comes from getting out of their head, which is what I was saying before.
Yes.
You got to get out of your head and just do the do, right? If you don't do the do, you don't get the result.
You guys know this. It's exactly why people are stuck with salesman. And one of the things I learned since I kind of worked in the sales agency space, I really wanted to build new scripts that are really effective. And there was this one script that that I've developed, and it's essentially it's so powerful. Like, I took this one client I was working with from $80,000 a month to $500,000 a month, who is now doing about $1 million a month. He's an e-commerce coach, and basically. It's so direct. I know this is the way that you communicate and sell on stage, Todd. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. You're direct, you're open, you're not full of shit, you're fucking up front, you tell people the facts, you're not there to give them some fake side hustle gimmick sell towards the end and trick them and try to sell them because you actually suck at communicating, and therefore you got to use some weird tactic and strategy to close them at the end. That's all bullshit. And this script that I constructed was that you get in the call and you're so direct. I'm just going to share what it is with people because fuck it. I want people to get value. It's like you get in the call. This is for a scheduled call, right? Like it's a scheduled sales call. Person wants to buy a product. You're like, hey Todd, how you doing? You go, yeah, good, thanks.
Yeah, good, mate.
Hey, you well, yeah.
Let's role play it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
hey Todd, how you going?
Yeah, good, mate. Croy, is it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. How's everything going? How's things? How's business?
Oh, yeah, mate. Sales coming in slowly but surely.
Amazing, man. Great. Look. I want to get straight into it. So how about we just get straight started, man, and get cracking? How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Perfect. So here's how the call will go. I'm just going to start off by asking you some questions. I just want to understand exactly what the problem is that you're dealing with, what the challenges are, what you want to achieve, all that, uncover all that stuff. And then we'll essentially, at the end, if I can help you, if I think that I have a solution for you, I will recommend my solution for you. Sometimes even I'll say the price. Grant Cardone says it's $4,000. I'm going to tell you why. I'll recommend the solution for you. But if I cannot help you, and if I fucking know that I literally cannot help you, then I'll tell you up front, I'll be transparent. We might jump off earlier, we might jump off in the middle, whatever. But I'll be really honest and direct and transparent. And so what you're actually doing there, is essentially communicating and if you like, similar to like a relationship with a partner, to overcome a honeymoon period rather than waiting 6 months of the dating bullshit, getting straight to it. Hey, let's get cut straight to bullshit. Let's set the standards of how this call is going to go, how this relationship is going to be. That's what this is all about. It's about setting expectations, setting standards, and then people follow. That's what people do. People follow standards. They love that. People love authority. People love a leader. They love a specialist who knows how to cut a heart open and fix it. They listen to that kind of person. They don't listen to the guy that's like, I'm still trying to learn how to do it. Or I don't really sound like I'm boss. You're going to be that direct and open that they just respect you instantly on a subconscious level. Because throughout life, we listen to educators, we listen to teachers, we listen to doctors that are really good at what they do.
Tell us what to do. Your mum tells you what to do. Your dad tells you what to do.
There you go. You listen. It doesn't matter how old you are. If I'm 40 years old, I'm still going to listen to someone that, talks like that. When I go to a doctor, that if they talk like like they don't know what they're doing, I won't listen. So all that, stuff is so important.
The police kick down your door. They say, "Get on the ground! Get on the ground!"
that one, yeah, you listen to. Try to run away, but doesn't matter.
Right. So, you've hit with the price. I've agreed. Where we go from here?
I usually wouldn't give the price. That's what we usually do. But I'm just saying that it's something that Grant Cardone talks about. But you say this is the price, and then at the very end, you actually say this before they say anything again. You say, "Does that sound fair enough?" Great. And then you say at the end, there's a few different options. I want to be really transparent with this so we can agree right now at the very start how this call is going to go. Okay. Let's just say we get to the end and it's a great fit. So you can say, great, let's do this. Let's lock this in. You're prepared to take action. Let's lock it in. Let's agree to that, right? You say that. then so you can also say no to me. I don't want you to feel like you can't say no because you actually don't want to, because I don't want to sell to someone that fucking doesn't want what I want. I'm not here to persuade you to buy something you don't want. I'm here to talk to people that want what I want, and I'm only going to be on the phone with you because you wanted it in the first place. I don't say that to them, but that's literally the case, right?
That's the sub-communication, yeah.
I see people selling people that don't want to buy it. It's like, are you retarded? What are you trying to do? So you're talking to someone that's already interested, therefore that makes sense. You say, if you don't want it, that's totally fine. But the one thing that I just really just genuinely don't want to hear is where, you know, you need to go away for a week and talk, like, you know, you need to go spend all this amount of time, like essentially, you know, talking to your partner, or you need to go over and think about it for a very long time. Because honestly, I get that. But what I've done this for so long, that what that typically means to me is that it's generally a no anyway. So if that's the case, can we just agree at the end that it's just a straight yes or no answer, and it's as simple as that? How does that sound?
Sounds good.
And that's good. That's good. It's good, right?
Let me.
The results were profound. I got sales guys doing 10 sales in a row. 100. I'm not even kidding. Like seriously, like 5 tuple, whatever the number is. Like it's closing rates crazy. Just close. Because people.
Let me just share my feeling as I like to role play properly. Like I put myself right in the shoes. So for those watching and listening, right, like the way I felt just from that frame that was set at the end there gave me the feeling it relieved the pressure, because the reason why, in my opinion, you get an answer like, let me think about it, or let me talk to my partner, is because they want to be nice to you, right? So effectively what I just got from that as a potential buyer is that, oh, he's let me off the hook. He's given me permission to just say no if I don't want it. And another thing I want to add here too, before you continue with pitching me, and fucking closing me, is that like that whole frame there was such a nice, elegant frame, and you don't want to speak to someone that wants to say no but doesn't feel like they can. Like what I'd say to my door-to-door guys all the time is like, my mindset when I knock on doors, how do you deal with rejection? Well, I don't see a no as a problem. I see a no as the thing that happens before my first yes, and then my next yes, and then my next yes. Because that way, how can I get through as many no's as possible to get my yes?
I don't know what you guys think about this, but I have a really strong feeling you're going to agree with me. But this is bullshit what I see. I see people saying people are buying you and that's it. They're not actually buying your products. Dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. They fucking buying the product as well. They're buying you as the salesperson.
That's
They're
how
buying the product as well.
That's how you get emotional remorse. That's how you get fucking buyer's remorse. So if they just buy you and the rest of it doesn't make sense, that's when you get the post.
Yeah. Just send them a text and ask them out on a date if you want to buy them that bad. Like,
I agree
completely. Go to dinner with them or something. What?
I agree completely. And this is
they're buying you. They're not buying the product. Like, the scene.
Imagine putting it into a different perspective. Like you're walking through the shops, and look, I love Donut King donuts, nice hot cinnamon donuts. I can't walk away. If I see one, it's a yes or no on the spot. I'm not going to sit there going, let me think about this for a second. I think I'm going to go home and ask my wife if she's going to let me have one donut, and I might come back next week.
You're not going to tell your wife that you had a donut.
Oh, no. I'm not going to tell her. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to eat it on the spot, and I'm going to enjoy every
I'm going to eat it on the spot. You know what I like about the way a lot of these companies communicate? Like, we're talking global, massive companies. They're fucking transparent. Even Apple, all these companies have got big brands, and they're transparent. They don't bullshit. Like literally, and that's why I think the transparent people end up winning. I'm being serious. Like it's one thing I feel like now I just love analyzing the way that people operate, and I just see people that are actually really transparent. I'm talking like even in this information, knowledge providing space, like the Morrison brothers, like these guys are doing like $50 million in sales. I think 20 million a year or 50 million a year or whatever it is. And they're so transparent. I've seen their advertising and the way they do it. They're so open there. You click there and it says straight away how much it is. There's no bullshit. They're just very direct. Now, you might need, I don't know, I'm not I'm not 100% saying I'm right. Like you might need some sort of brand in a sense to do that. But I truly believe in transparent honesty, clear marketing and selling. Like when you're on the phone, man, you fucking tell people. That's why you set these standards at the start. People just want you more at the end.
Yep, that's it.
I'm sure you, like Todd, you're incredible at what you do. Dean as well. I haven't seen as much of you, but like I know Todd, when you're on stage, like from what I've heard, like
well, man, it's not even just that. Like I've had the experience of raising venture capital. I've helped companies raise venture capital. I've helped people raise money in a whole lot of different ways. Help people recover money as well. So I really do understand and respect and appreciate the power of framing. And there's a beautiful dance that occurs in a good sale. And that dance, in my opinion, is the dance of pushing and pulling, right? Like people chase what they can't have. And this isn't like a cheesy tactic. This is just you positioning yourself properly, right? The thing that revolts and repulses people the most, in my opinion, this is for people that are selling right now, that are struggling, or people who are just getting into sales, is that you do not want to come across needy, right? That is that is the sale killer. Because if you're just trying to take, I feel that. I feel that you want that, which means it just repulses me. It makes me want to pull back. And this is like a biological evolutionary thing, right? Like if I only had one piece of bread, 20,000 years ago, and like me having to share this one piece of bread with you was the one thing that was going to kill me because I have to starve for the next couple of days. Like if I give without getting something back in return, like that's potential life and death. Yeah. So that's why people have like this very, very unconscious repulsion to beggars on the street. It's because they're wanting something.
They're not giving you anything.
Yeah, correct. So you have to play this fine little dance with people where, you don't want to be an arrogant asshole, but at the same time, it's like, I know my value. I know that what I offer, which this is the reason why I completely agree with your statement that, they're not just buying you. Because that's the emotional game, right? I think Jordan Belfort said it pretty well. He goes, you have to make an airtight, what does he say? Airtight emotional case and an airtight logical case. And like the logical case is all the criteria, the fit between them, what they need in your product. And like that emotional case lines that up too, but then there's you. They're buying you as well in that respect. But it's two things. It's not just one.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's really interesting to see, man.
So
I really think that's the key to mastering sales and being able to get what you want. It's just master communication. That's one thing I learned. It's like, you're not actually mastering sales. You're fucking mastering communication.
Yeah.
You're never really going to be a master of it, but I just say that, that's what you're trying to move towards, right? You're becoming a master at communicating so that therefore you can close anything, you can sell anything, you can negotiate with anyone, you can raise venture capital. I was just on the call with this guy called Mark Lack. I don't know if you guys know Mark Lack. He's like a personal branding authority in America. Does a lot of work with like Grant Cardone. He's done 300 million in sales, right?
Yeah, right.
Something incredible. Something like, I was just on the phone and I'm like, we're going to be doing some work with him. He's incredible. And it was really interesting. The way that we were communicating, it's not like it's just so fucking upfront, like so upfront. So upfront that there's just nothing to hide because we don't care. Like you said, we're detached almost. Like you're not needy. You want to serve the other person more than yourself. I think, all these things come into massive play. I'm sure you guys all agree.
I think I watched the, I watched the Jordan Belfort Grant Cardone podcast, which was absolutely hilarious. But what I really did like, right? I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was fabulous. What I really liked, and this is also important, right? There's some people that say, as Grant Cardone was trying to say on the day, and I just think he was, either number one, he's a complete arsehole, and not to say it as it is, or number two, he was so opposed to having any agreement with Jordan that he made himself look like a dickhead. Either way, there's something up, and we'll stop that there. But the point is that Grant was trying to say, I don't believe in any tricks. I don't believe in any tricks when it comes to selling. There is no tricks. I got fish. You want fish? I got fish. And Jordan was elegant. Jordan was doing his best not to make Grant look like an idiot. You could tell at one point though, he kind of goes, that's it, stuff it. But like he was trying to like put the right words in Grant's mouth, saying, well, there's strategy, right? Like there's certain things that if you say at certain times, at certain parts of the conversation and certain parts of the negotiation, that will stack up to give you success. And like Grant's just like, no, you just get in there and you do the work. So like, I guess where I'm getting with that is what would be your big tips in regards to strategy, in regards to mindset for someone that wants to increase their sales game?
I think that, because like you said, there is a strategy. We've all got a buying strategy. There's a strategy. And I see what Grant is saying there in a sense. I actually somewhat agree with him. What I also think is cheeky. I also get Jordan. I'm sure we all do. But what I really like about what Grant's saying there is, I think, without even really wanting to admit it, I think the strategy is honesty. Seriously.
Yeah.
Like that is the strategy. Strategy is transparency, honesty, being fucking direct, owning the conversation, controlling the conversation, which is actually all the stuff that Jordan's saying to do as well. So actually, in a sense,
Well, in that case,
You know what I mean? That's a Grant saying. He just doesn't want to go through
He doesn't want to agree, right? But like, in my opinion, there's two elements to it, right? There's the strategy, which is the flow of communication, because there is a flow. Like if I come in and say, hey, buy this for $2,000, you can say no. However, if I inquire about you at the start, I find about you, what your problems are, what's going on. If I then uncover, what's missing, how you failed to achieve your results, and then bridge the gap towards the end,
Absolutely.
that's strategy, right?
Absolutely.
And then if you combine that with what Grant's saying, which is get out there and do the work, you get a good combination. And I think there's a third element to it too, which I don't remember either of them talking about, which is, in my opinion, anything I've ever sold, I could never sell it well until I was sold myself on the product. As soon as I believe without a shadow of a doubt that this thing is the best thing since sliced bread, boom, my sales will go through the roof. What's your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. I think that's where it all starts. It comes from, if you don't believe in yourself or the product that you're selling, whether you are the product or you have the product or it's your business or someone else's business, like, it comes to beliefs. I totally agree with that. I think that's crucial. But that's by having that belief, then you create. That's where the action comes. Because how else would you be so resourceful? If you believe in it so much, then you can believe in finding the solution. But if you don't believe in it that much, it's going to be harder to find a solution because a part of you might not believe it even when they come up with it, or when it's an objection. I think it's one of the biggest things that people face, a struggle, objection. Right?
It's a bit like when you were saying earlier that you were closing your wife, right? Imagine if you met your wife and you're like, hey, let's go to bed right now, rather than, and then after I go, oh, do you want that drink? Or do you say, hey, my name's Karai, how you going? Can I buy you a drink? And then later maybe
close the deal later on.
Close the deal later on. It's the exact same. You've got to have some sort of strategy there to meet, your friends, your partners, whatever. Because as you were saying earlier, we're always selling, right? And as we always say, I'm the relationship guy here with us, that I love to communicate to make a new best friend. If you're not going to want to have barbecues on the weekend or with me, then why would I want to be part of your community or whatever,
Fuck
right?
you and your barbecue.
But like you said, everyone's got a different strategy. And you know what I'm fucking sick of? Everyone's trying to, I think it's important that we model other people that are successful, but I also think it's important that we, what is what are our strategies that we really thrive off? We all have different strategies. We can never be, even if you got a sales script, you can never be exact to the dot doing it in the way that your mentor is telling you to do it. It's not possible.
I sound like a robot.
I think we're coming into an important point right here, and this is something that you tend to learn from experience, is that you can have a script, you can have a flow, but you have to adapt your process based on what you're receiving back from the person that you're selling to. Because this is something even to today sometimes, right? But especially when I first started selling, I was in the habit of overselling the product. And for anyone that's new or it's where you just, you don't, it's like you miss the signal, right? And this is what your buyers are giving you, right? Your prospect will give you signals when they're ready to buy. And that there's a nuance, but that's where you truly, I think, become a great salesman. When you can notice the little tiny buying signals that they give you, and you go, okay, they're ready. Otherwise, just like me, and I've done it so many fucking times, it's embarrassing, I've oversold the damn thing. It's like we sell first aid kits. They'll be going, yep. And I'll just be pitch. And I'd pitch so much, I could have closed them 15 minutes ago, but because I oversold, they said no.
You just
I resonate. What are you saying, dude?
He just loves to talk. That's it.
But it is important, right? That's a nuance to sales. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I've done that as well. I remember when I've done sales calls that are probably triple as long as what I would have done them 6 months later. Yeah, it's just incredible. I just go on and on and on. And before you know it, you're just on the phone all day. You could be meeting up with them in person and hanging out. Just totally unnecessary. So, we all go through journeys, right? And it's it's just finding that right spot, that G spot that just works really well. And I'm a huge fan of being so transparent and becoming a great communicator so that you're in there quick and you're out there sharp, but also you're very, not in a sense of you're rushing it through it so fast that they feel like they're not, the buyer's not 100% clear, but in a way that it's, like you said, it's the perfect spot. They're getting what they need. You're serving them fast, efficiently, productively, and you're getting to the, the outcome, the end result in a really
100%.
great way. So, yeah.
So we're approaching the hour mark now, so I better start to wrap this bad boy up.
Hey.
So if you were to get, went fast, hey. So if you were to give three practical tips for somebody that's in business or in sales to really start to amplify their results, what would you kind of wrap this podcast up with?
Definitely. The first one that comes to mind is follow your intuition. Look, what we talked about before. Definitely. With everything, follow your intuition. Any business deal, anyone that you want to work with. Right now, I'm doing more working with more, I guess, thought leaders than I ever have before, because obviously now I'm supporting other people that are much more successful than me, if you want to deem it in that way or whatever you want to call it. So for me, it's like, I want to really focus on intuition and work with the people that I really want to work with. But also for anyone that has clients, like I think it's important we follow intuition. If something doesn't feel right, if your gut is saying no, don't fight against it, because you're gonna learn your lesson the hard way, which is fine as well. You might learn it either way anyway.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So that would be the first one. I think the second one is become a master at effectively selling, yourself as a human being. You want to master. If you can master selling, if you can sell to anyone, you can sell anything. Literally, if you can communicate really, really well and inspire people to work with you or to collaborate with you or whatever, like that is the key to long-term business growth and success. And I'm sure we all know that.
It's the master key.
It is literally the master key. Communication, I believe, is the most important thing in the end. It's like you can communicate and get across to people and inspire them. That's it. That's
100%.
really that's the game changer. I think that's two. And I think the last thing would be the third one would be resourcefulness, because that's what I talked about when I was coming from prison to where I'm now. I feel like I've built this muscle of being resourceful, and I think you guys have as well. And I think it's really important that if you want to be successful, if you want to grow in your business and life, anything in life, not just in business, you've got to really build this muscle of being resourceful, which is just knowing that you can find a solution no matter what, whether it's getting more clients or whatever it is, and not basically accustoming to your laziness and bullshit excuses for why you can't do it, but tapping into your resourcefulness and saying, how can I do it? How can I survive this? How can I thrive during this time? How can I not allow this global recession or whatever the fuck it is affect me? How can I find a solution and succeed? How can I, whatever it is, resourcefulness. It's our best friend.
It's our secret superpower that most people don't tap into.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice.
That would be the three.
No, well, mate, that I think was fucking brilliant.
That's good.
It doesn't feel like an hour. It went real quick.
No, very quick.
So, all right. So we've covered a lot today. Everyone that's watching and listening, obviously, Karai and we both speak super fast. Dean's like the slightly slower version. He slows it down a bit. But Karai, if people want to be able to reach out with you, connect with you, find out more about what you're doing, just in general, come into your world, what's their best ways of connecting with you, mate?
Yeah, sure. I mean, they can, I'm on social media, Facebook. My name's Karai Karoz, bit of a tough name to spell out, but I think it's tough. That's not a limiting belief. K-O-R-O-I, Karai Karoz. You can just get in touch that way.
I'll have you tagged.
Put up lots of content, lots of love, lots of value, and that's it, man. Otherwise, there's not really any other way you get in touch with me besides stalking me and coming to my house or something.
Knocking on the door. For everyone?
Huh?
Is that open for everyone?
There's a sign out the front that says, "Wait,
no hawkers."
Do you mind leaving
applications only?
There's no hookers allowed. I mean, no hookers, mate.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Nah,
awesome, mate. Well, let's wrap this one up. It's been a fucking pleasure talking to you, dude. And
thanks for having me.
I'll speak to you soon, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, mate.
Bye.